It's the OGR Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the OGR Podcast. It's already going better because I pronounced the name correctly this time.
Yep.
We got Haley. What's up, Haley?
Hello, what is up, my fellow hosers? How are we?
And we got everybody in the event chat room so that everybody can chat, contribute, enjoy the podcast. And as always, Haley's the mastermind. She's got some topics. She's got some things to spur on my ranting. And we're going to have a good time.
Yeah, so try not to keep it too deep in here tonight, but let's talk about a statement that I overheard this past weekend.
Ooh.
Ooh, are you ready? Because I know this is really just going to set you off, so I'm so excited to have this conversation.
All right. I love being
All right,
set
so-
off.
Yeah, I heard it and I was like, oh, OGR needs to hear this. So the statement was, quote, "Why are you angry? Angry is bad."
Angry is bad. Wow.
I knew.
Let me translate that statement to the way that I hear it. I hear it as honesty is bad. Honesty is you expressing yourself. If anger is bad, if honesty is bad, then that means you are bad. And if you think that you are bad, then you don't love yourself. That is the equation that I place in that statement. That's what that statement implies to me, is that you should not love yourself when you say anger is bad.
Woo!
Quick
Woo!
math.
Damn.
Yeah, my brain, I think about things in the intellectual side so much that I guess I break it down like that. But yeah, like that's straight up is just like, if there's a section of you that you think does not deserve to see the light of day, then you do not love yourself. And
Yep.
and shedding light on all parts of yourself is critical. I mean, you can muddle through life by sort of suppressing the more dark or undesirable or less pleasant parts of yourself. You can do that. Most people do that. Most people suppress their darkest thoughts and their darkest desires and their darkest intentions. And it ends up keeping them from doing bad things to people. So, like, I get it. I'm not saying that suppressing is stupid and has no reason to be done, because, like, some people suppress things that are, like, pretty nasty stuff. But that's not the best long-term solution, in my opinion. I know I've said this before, but it's my belief that anger is a skill. And when people have a skill that they aren't good at, especially in terms of something physical, let's say you're bad at playing baseball, and you go to somebody and you're like, yeah, I wish I was good at playing baseball. It seems like it would make sense to most of us if that person replied, oh, you should join a baseball team. You should go to baseball practices. You should watch baseball games. You should watch videos about how to get better at baseball. It would be stupid if we heard that person reply with, oh, you're bad at baseball? I've got a solution. Just never, ever play baseball again for the rest of your life. That's the perfect solution. Like, that's sort of, when we talk about it in a different context, it's obvious that it's dumb. But when you talk about, oh, you got angry at Thanksgiving and told Auntie Carol that she's a bitch, and now everybody's like upset with you, like, you're just bad at anger. It's not that you shouldn't get angry. You just need to get better at getting angry. And not only better at it, but do it in smaller increments and more often. And this has been the hugest game changer for me in the last 6 months, because even just like me ranting right now, making up a funny story about Auntie Carol being a bitch or whatever, there's like a little bit of anger in there, and not in a bad way. like when you let your anger sort of slowly come out in your day to day, people will call you things like confident. People will call you things like passionate. People will call you things like driven and motivated. They won't call you angry. Those emotions are all, or I guess the anger of emotion is closely tied to those characteristics, and people just divide them up and look at one as good and one as bad because, I mean, that's what people do.
Yeah, so really important to note that every emotion is valid and has a reason for existence.
Mm, totally.
Yeah, so even the ones that are considered like within society to be negative, like anger, right? I mean, there's a reason that we feel that. There's a reason. So like I always like to consider the fact that, being angry or frustrated about something comes from a need or a want for something to change,
Mm.
whether it be within yourself or, I don't know, the environment that you're in, something relative to whatever it is that's making you frustrated or angry. There's a reason you feel that way, and a lot of it comes from a need for things to be different.
Yeah, for sure. What you just said answers a great question that Arrow put in the event chat. He just said, "What?" He said, "OGR-Scintilla, what is it that you're so angry about?" And I think that what you just said gives a blanket answer to that statement of just a situation that you think could be better. And that's the thing is like being angry about that is not a bad thing. Like that's a great thing. That is progress, that is growth, that is change.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. It's totally healthy. And I think that another thing I want to talk about is that there are positive emotions, and I just want to talk about sadness and happiness right now because I sort of see those as the big three umbrella emotions that everything else can sort of fall into. There are other emotions for sure, but those are sort of like the big three to me: happiness, sadness, anger. And let's look at happiness because happiness is seen as the positive emotion, right? The thing you want. But there is just as much or more toxic behavior that comes out of happiness as there is that comes out of sadness and anger. And the thing that comes to mind is when there's like a group of people bullying one person. The people bullying this person, making them feel like crap, they're laughing, they're joking, they're having a great time. Like they're full of happiness when they're doing that. People, just because you're feeling happy doesn't mean you're making a positive change in the world. Like you can get blackout lit on drugs and alcohol and be totally happy. But that doesn't mean it's a good thing. There's sort of this happiness just gets this free pass as if like, oh, I just want to be happy. Happiness is like when people say their goal in life is to be happy, I know right away that that's they're not quite looking at things properly because if that was your only goal, then I mean, go go get hooked on meth or something, like it's not hard to be happy. To just chase pleasure, to chase happiness. That's easy. That's the easy way out in life. And that's probably why when you're constantly chasing happiness, sadness and anger aren't getting a chance to come through. And then they build up, and then suddenly you've got depression, suddenly you've got anxiety, suddenly you've got all these terrible beliefs about your own life. You don't love yourself because you've told yourself that the reason of my life is for me to be happy. And now I'm not happy. So it's like, oh, why is life so unfair? Why is life treating me this way? When you've just chosen a really juvenile goal in life. And then that imbalance sort of poisons your perspective on life accordingly.
Right. So, what do you feel like is a good solution for people who feel the need to tell how, okay, let me rephrase the question.
Yeah, no
How do
worries.
you feel the best way to respond is for people who often get shut down by other people who say like, "Oh yeah, you should just, you should be happy." Well, or why aren't you happy that you're happy? Or why is
Mm,
being happy not your number one goal? Because we know that there's a lot of people out there who really don't understand that there's deeper meaning to things other than being happy or feeling good about something. What
Yeah.
is your response to people who don't understand that there's more than one emotion that needs to be existent?
Yeah. The funny thing that popped into my mind is go watch Inside Out. I don't know if you've seen that Pixar movie. That movie
Yes.
slaps, dude. Like, that's just straight up what I'm talking about. I remember working at the pool as a lifeguard, and we had dive-in movies. Everybody laugh at that pun in unison. Not drive-in, but dive-in movies. Ha 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 ha. And we screened Inside Out one dive-in movie, and I remember just sitting in my lifeguard chair, like on the brink of tears, thinking, "Oh my god, this movie is so deep. I love this movie so much." The kids are splashing around, not paying any attention. I'm just sitting there, like having an existential crisis while I'm trying to make sure nobody drowns.
No, I'm literally picturing this entire situation right now. And it's just you 6'6" on a lifeguard chair. Like you're just contemplating your entire existence watching this Pixar movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Tabco's scratching at the door, so I'm gonna go open the window. Quick 15-second break. I guarantee that he's gonna be back at the window within 5 minutes because it's literally snowing and cold outside, and he's just like, "Oh, I want out." Tabco.
It's snowing?
It was. It's supposed to snow more tonight, but yeah.
Bro, what the hell?
Oh, Tabco, silly cat. I feel like I don't have a great answer to your question, and that's why I went to the story about Inside Out because it was the first thing that popped into my mind. But I'm sure there's. Let's follow this road. Let's follow. How do you help someone see that there's more to life than just happiness? It's a great question. It's an important question.
Or if not that, how do you love yourself?
Yes. In a way, they're the same. In a way, they're the same question, and you're 100% right.
Yes.
Because, like I said before, if you think that happiness is all there is to life, you are taking one tiny cross section of your entire who you are. Like, just taking one slice out of who you are and being like, this is the only good part. The rest needs to piss off and hide away for the rest of eternity because it's not worthy of being seen. And my sadness, my anger, my fear, all of those things, they aren't worthy of being seen. I need to hide them. So living in the name of happiness and having happiness as your goal in life and not loving yourself are the same thing. So after I've said that, if somebody doesn't accept that, I guess I would take the same approach that I have come to take in terms of all these things, which is, and this is sort of a brand new topic, but it really is related, is to live for your own pinnacle, live for your own goals, and just don't be afraid to put it all on display. And I know that to the people watching and listening, that's why you guys like me, is because I put my sort of self on display and let you guys see I'm driving after something bigger than happiness. And it's just sort of validating for people to see that. The reason that I think that way is because A, it just works, and B, it's everybody who has motivated me in my lifetime has taken that approach. I've mainly been inspired by people who lived great lives and had great results. And I saw them, and my own natural curiosity was piqued. And then then I had the motivation to look into them and pursue the knowledge that they have. you can spew knowledge out all you want, but if nobody sees you living a good life and nobody sees you exemplifying the positive, I guess, rewards, the positive consequences I was going to say, but like, if nobody sees you reaping the rewards of living this good life, practicing what you preach, then nobody's really going to care. I think that's sort of the way I feel.
Yeah, so in regards to that, you doing it and then people seeing you do it and saying, "Oh wow, that looks really cool. I want to do what he's doing." Ooh, yesterday on live stream last night, there was like people in the chat when you were doing your thing because you were performing, right? People were like, "Is he good? Is he okay?" And I think it's so funny because you're just you are like the definition of content when you do that, and it's really fun to watch because I mean it's obvious that you're enjoying yourself and you're doing exactly what you want to be doing, but like watching you be content like that, I think it's so interesting. But what is your response to people who and I know the whole thing is we're not asking people to understand it, but
Yeah.
we're asking people to accept it. I mean, what is your response there when people are like, oh, what is wrong with him, or why is he being weird, or XYZ? Like how do you get over that fear of not wanting to appear different?
I need to trace back my thoughts a little bit on this one because for a long, long time, I have accepted and understood about myself that here's just a little statement: confusion precedes learning. And the big example for me was the way I used to dress in university, college parties, and stuff. I would go to thrift stores and buy the most colorful, vibrant, weird clothing that I could find and wear them to parties. And I would always just have this innate thrill whenever I would see people giving me dirty looks because I knew that not all of them would take on the task of learning and expanding their minds, but I knew that some people would see that and understand that I'm a smart person and then ask themselves, why is he doing this? This is a smart guy. This is like a keen person with a good personality. Why is he dressing this way? It must be for a reason. And it was literally just to show people that the walls and the rules that are built around you cannot hurt you in the way that you feel they can hurt you. Like when I come to a party dressed weird, I mean, sure, fewer girls might hit on me or some of the hockey bros will think I'm weird, but they're not going to do anything. Like they're not going to do shit. They're going to let me live and I'm going to be exactly who I am and they can't control me. All of the ways that you're tricked into thinking that you are controlled are actually illusions. It's sort of like the Diagon Alley, not Diagon Alley, platform 9 3/4, where to break into that world of magic, you have to run at the wall. Like it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. This is like the platform 9 3/4 metaphor of like to break through to a greater world, you have to see that there are walls that you think are going to hurt you, but they're not actually going to hurt you. And you have to run at that wall and you're going to fly right through and you're going to realize that you've been tricked, that there was no wall, that brick wall didn't actually exist. And this is a great rant, but I forgot what my point when I started. I was talking about, oh yes, the live stream. And when people go, are you good? What's wrong with him? Is he okay? I'm sure that every single person who's here in the chat right now was that person at some point. They were the are you okay? I'm sure I confused you at some point and you had a keen enough mind to follow that confusion and follow the confusion to the learning.
Oh, dude.
But how did I get to the point where I believed that? I've been talking about big breakthroughs in bravery that I've had lately, but part of me just always had this brave side. Part of me was always just a little bit of a nut. And I would suspect that if I ask a lot of you guys, there is a part of you that is a brave nut that wants to bust out of your shell and just shine as brightly as you possibly can. I don't think I have to do that for you.
For me or for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, like, for you, I mean, I feel like you've talked about this to me before, but I'd love to like to hear your thoughts on that. Like, there's a part of you that knows that you should be brave and give more, right?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
And there's still that part of me. Like, this is still a battle that I go through constantly. Um, you just can't hate either side, because to bring it back to the conversation we had before, if you look at any part of yourself and decide that part's no good, we need to get rid of that, then you aren't loving yourself. So let's take it to this more complicated place. Let's talk about the coward in you and the brave-hearted person in you. You have to love both if you're going to love yourself. You have to accept that both are a part of you. And I think that's why this conversation that started on anger is so important, because whether you're talking about your emotions, whether you're talking about fear and bravery, whether you're talking about anything in your life that you're trying to accomplish, in the lives that we live, the battle is almost always intrinsic. It's almost always you versus yourself. But if you look at that battle as one side is right and one side is wrong, and you're trying to beat down the other side that you think is wrong, then you are just practicing self-hate. You're just practicing a sophisticated, tricky form of self-hate. And you probably you probably think you're doing good for yourself, but in reality, you're just beating yourself up, and that internal conflict rages on, and the more one side gets overgrown, the more the other side gets beaten down, the more that imbalance within you grows, and then you just lead back to more problems.
Okay, that's the end.
That was really I'm proud of that rant, okay? That was a good rant.
No, I hate the entire thing because you literally just called me out so hard. And I know that you know. I know that you know.
That's why I'm here.
I know that you know that you're holding me accountable.
But that's the funny thing, is that that's so beautiful that you said that, because I'm literally just talking my own shit. Like, I'm not pointing this at you. It probably, if it feels like it's pointed at you, that's just because you're hearing what you need to hear. And
Oh, 100%.
like, this is the thing, to anybody who feels impacted by this right now, this goes back to exactly what I said before about motivating, inspiring, getting people to listen. I am just saying what I know. These are the things that I wrote in my journal that have guided me through my life. I am just letting myself be seen. I am not saying this to anybody so that they can hear and learn. That is a symptom of me existing in the way that I do, but that is not the motivator. That is not the origin. And if getting people to listen is the motivator, then you're doomed to fail. You just are. Because you have so much energy that you get allocated to you from the universe or your soul or whatever you want to think of it as. You get a certain amount of energy that's given to you. And if you take it and hand it all out to everyone else, and you keep giving your energy away to the world, sooner or later, you're going to start to look at the world as a place that is taking from you, and you're going to want to stop giving your energy to the world. And all that is your internal self-love trying to rebalance this imbalance you've created by constantly giving away all your energy, by constantly going, I need to make other people's lives better. I need to motivate people. I need to do this. I need to do that. You give until suddenly it feels like the world is taking from you. And that feeling of like, oh, the world is taking from me, like I said, that's just your inner self-love being like, bro, slow down. Keep some of your energy for yourself.
Okay, are we done? Are we?
Absolutely
Is this
not.
Are we done now? Are we done? Bro.
No, this is it's so hard for you to ask me any question because you're starting to see how everything is connected in my mind. And I've been working on this unified theory of self for so long. I need to just shut up and write a book, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start
Like
to unpack that
it's
entire
all
thing.
connected. You need to distill it down to these fundamental principles that you can apply to everything that comes at you in life. That's really like what it is. It's not, you'll probably notice I give blanket answers to so many questions because when you start to think about things critically, um, it really is repeating patterns. It really is
Okay,
fundamental
for
things.
one, I need you to write this down because you said something that was crazy, and I know that you're gonna spit that as a bar in your next song
Okay,
somewhere.
okay. What was it?
Okay, now I gotta remember.
I'm gonna type it into chat here. By the way, thank you to everybody.
No,
Everybody's just like, bro, you're calling me out in chat. Like, you know too much about me. It's like, dude, all I know about is myself. That's all I know about. I don't know anything about you guys. Just understand how connected we all are as people. It's kind of a beautiful thing.
no, you said something about like I don't even remember what it was. You guys can learn about me, but God, I wish I could remember what it was. I was gonna type it in too, and now I can't fucking remember.
If only we were
Something
recording
about
this conversation.
I know. No, it was something about like you guys can learn about me, but I already know everything I need to know or something. Oh, dude.
Oh, I think I remember the general principle I was talking about. Was it about my motivations for teaching you? That part about me saying that.
Yeah, I don't even yeah, something like that. I don't know, dude. It was just wild, and I didn't hear anything you said for the next 3 minutes because I was too busy thinking about that one sentence that just came out of your mouth.
This might have been, I might have been talking about emptying your cup for other people. Like giving all your energy away to other people. I don't know. It's probably in there at some
It
point.
was right before that, because that
Okay.
was the part that I started listening again, and then I was about to disconnect because
Just about to leave
I
the
don't know.
event. Just like, I'm gonna go
We'll
cry.
find it.
Finish the podcast on your own, you asshole.
Yeah, no, no, no. This is too much. Yeah, you know what?
Mm,
Actually, I'm resigning. I'm resigning
no.
from this position.
No. I don't wanna have to bring sci-fi back because all we're gonna talk about is Raid Shadow Legends and his PC
Is
being late.
SoundCloud.
His SoundCloud. It'll just be an hour and a half of sci-fi plugging his SoundCloud.
I don't even remember what it was, but
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I can't wait to go back and re-listen to it to figure out what it was. It's gonna bother me so much.
Everybody in chat's like, bring me in, bring me in. Nah, I do have something that I want to bring it back around to though. I,
Yes.
um, so everything you just heard from me, the way I was talking, the way I was ranting, let's bring this back to the original question. All of that was tied to the anger side of who I am. Like, I wasn't angry ranting at you guys, but as anger gets more intense, it changes what it is a little bit. It's like, this is a great metaphor. I hope like one person understands this. There's an episode of Digimon where Agumon, the little yellow dinosaur dude, they're fighting some monster at a pyramid in Egypt, and it's this crazy monster that they can't defeat. So Agumon digivolves to this crazy skeletal form that's insanely powerful and can defeat the monster, but he also ends up attacking his friends and attacking like his own, I forget the name of the kid who looks after Agumon, but he just sort of turns into a vicious skeletal dinosaur thing that attacks everyone. Tai, I think. Yeah, Tai is his name, Arrow says in chat. And that is straight up a metaphor for anger. Where like Agumon in his yes, Skull Greymon. Yes, Arrow gets the reference. Let's go. So he goes into Skull Greymon and sort of like betrays his friends. He defeats the big bad, but there's a great cost that comes with it. And anger is very much like that, where if you learn how to just be like, regular Greymon, or I forget the name of like the one with just the horns, who's just sort of a badass and beats people up. Um, Caramon. Yes, he reverts back to Caramon. Okay, hopefully Arrow's getting me the right information I need here, but anger's like that. If you can sort of exist in your second or third digivolved stage of anger, that's just passion. That's just fire. That's just motivation. That's just confidence. But if you bottle it up and you stay as like Agumon and you're like, no, I never want to be angry, I never want to hurt anyone. And then suddenly, boom, you're Skull Greymon and you say the things you need to say, but you call Auntie Carol a bitch at Thanksgiving, as per previous metaphor, then you get problems. So that's where I'm at right now. And also, you'll probably notice that I'm also pretty happy right now. And there's also like some sadness and some seriousness coming through in what I'm saying. And I think that I'm learning emotion as a skill and looking at it that way, whether it is that way or not. It's helping me feel simultaneous emotions and more complex emotions. And it's awesome, you know?
That was
Did the Digimon
such
metaphor
a
land?
360. It was such a like, dude. We just did a whole freaking like figure eight.
I mean, it's like I just can't think of any better metaphor for anger than that episode of Digimon. And sorry, Arrow, I don't remember the show that well. It's like I literally haven't watched the show since I was, I don't know, 10. So like I don't remember the show well. But I just remember that moment and thinking, whoa, bro went too far. You know? Anger's like that. It's I mean, you'll meet you I know you've all met confident men and women in your lives that can say, no, we're not doing that. That goes against what I believe. We got to figure out something better. So let's
Shane.
sort this out. That's crazy that you think of me as that person because I so was not and still am not in my personal life in so many ways. I'm the person who just like people will say something and I'm just like, I sort of like back up, backpedal because I'm always trying to be.
Yeah,
I always
no,
want perspective. I'm
because
always like, but then I'm learning to
you
be like,
say,
whoa, hold
but
up.
then you respond.
Yeah.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit because you literally will say, I hate that, and then you also come back at it. Like you're not just like, I hate that, and then you just shut up.
I,
Like
I guess I
you
should
are.
thank
What?
you. But
Uh-huh.
I do feel like I'm becoming that way. And I should say, yes, I'm giving myself credit for that 100%. I'm becoming that person. It feels awesome. I'm just saying that if you feel like you aren't that person, just understand that it's a skill. It's a learned skill. And I was so hyper non confrontational as a person for so long. And I have learned this skill. I've taught myself this skill. And now I'm starting to apply it. So just so you know, if you are that non-confrontational person who can't stand up for yourself, who can't speak your mind when you know what's right, but you just there's a frog in your throat, like this is something that you can learn and something you can work towards. Don't feel discouraged.
Wow.
That's I think a big part of what I want to do through my music and my content and my etc. Just my existence is to like putting myself on display. I think that people get this wrong idea in their mind of if you want people to respect you, they have to see you as perfect and having it all figured out. When in reality, I think social media is showing us that if you lose your relatability, if you lose your human side, then people are going to quit respecting you because they feel like you're some sort of fable, something that's out of reach. When I just want everybody to know that like I these are all things I learned. I guess I was born with my sense of I feel like I always appreciated humor, and humor is a big thing that like sort of asked me to question everything. Sort of that mind of a stand-up comic or whatever, where people they just look at stuff and laugh at it, and that makes you question things. Like as long as you're inquisitive, that's all you need. Like I guess I was born inquisitive, and beyond that, everything can be learned. As long as you have your curiosity, there's nothing else you need. You'll figure everything else out.
Wow. Yeah, so God, I don't even know where to start with that. Man. So a lot of it, I think, has to tie back to that, like, channeling your inner child.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's wow. Great, great prompt, Haley. Let's just you see exactly
Hmm.
where I'm going, and you're just pointing me there. That was so good. Well
Dude, because
done.
here's the problem. We are literally like connected. Like I don't think you understand the level that our brains are quite literally like tied at.
I I think that
I
no
oh my god.
no that's so funny because you said that and I was like you you dastardly son of a gun. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Um. So yeah, I was talking about as long as you have your inquisitiveness, as long as you have your curiosity, you're gonna be good. And what's another way of saying that? Let your inner child dance. You need your inner child. What is the inner child? And of course, when I say like, does everybody have that inquisitive side? Duh. Of course we do. That's just your inner child. We were all that inner child. We were all that curious person, and maybe we were more curious about different things, but it's it's all that link. It's all how you were born. And I mean, not to be go on a crapping on society rant, but what's the difference between a baby and a grown up? Well, it's just your experiences and the things you've been taught. And if you lose what makes you a human, I mean, when I say inner child, what I really just mean is your inner human. Because you're just more your biological true animal self when you're born. That's what your inner child is. It's just a less domesticated version of a human being. You're just a little bit more of the animal that you are. And you have that you express your emotions like babies cry and they smile and they laugh and they roam around and they're curious and all these things that I'm describing are 100% just your inner child.
Wow, it's almost like I knew that's what you meant.
Don't make this about you or me. But great, great call. I was 100% describing all those things. See,
No, I just
this is
what?
why you're the podcast host. This is why
Yeah.
you're the podcast host. Once again, everybody clap it up.
What does that have to do with me?
Because you just were like, "Oh, by the way, Shane, here's the one thing you've been talking about in everything you've been talking about for the last half an hour. It's just inner child. That's
Yeah.
100%. All these things. Um, expressing yourself honestly and having that curiosity. Yeah.
I mean, here's the wild part. Like you said, babies are born to just, have emotion and they just show them right away. Literally a newborn child does not second guess whether or not they should be crying about their shitty diaper. Like they don't,
Yeah.
I mean, they just do it. So like, why are we so against just doing what you feel?
It's so funny that you said it in that way because it really is the perfect metaphor just to apply to a grown person's life. It's like when you have a shitty diaper, metaphorically speaking, in your life and you refuse to cry about it. I mean, think about when a baby is crying, if a parent is just like, quit crying, baby, like, stop it, and yells at their baby. Like, we know that that's bad. We know that you aren't supposed to abuse babies into stop crying.
I don't
Ev-
know why you would think that's unacceptable.
like we know that you're not supposed to do that to babies. But at some
You're not?
point, you shut up. You know where I'm going with this. At some point, we reach an age where it's like, okay, now it's okay to start abusing people into suppressing their emotions. Now they're old enough that like it's good. And I get it. I should say this too. I think that parents should discipline their children. I know that people are going to misinterpret this in a way where it's like, I think people should discipline their children. I think that you should be able to fight back your tears and give her shit for a little while when you need to. I think that that is part of growing up and maturing. Not necessarily, but that's the thing. There's a difference between suppressing your emotions and channeling your emotions. And I think that's the difference between dancing with your inner child and maturing beautifully and actually becoming sort of like a man child or a man what's the opposite of a man child, a woman child, as you grow up, and so thinking that suppressing your emotions is the right way. At some point those two things got convoluted, and there's because they can look the same in their manifestation, but their motivations, their energies, their drivers are so different. So that's a really great, wow, that's a really great sort of distillation of all these ideas of like, there's a big difference between suppressing your emotions and channeling your emotions. Because as you get older, I mean, as a man, there's situations where I get into where, yeah, part of me just wants to sit down and cry. But that's where if you don't know how to let the anger take the steering wheel, that's where you're gonna go wrong. Because, like, say for example, I don't know, there's been times where I had to like respond to medical emergencies or whatever. And in those moments, like, I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm freaking out. But I think maybe that's part of where I learned to use this anger when you're like, just as a lifeguard is an easy example. When a kid needs your help, there is a fierceness that comes over you if you let it, that is completely driven by anger. It is anger at the world for putting this child in this situation. And if you don't allow yourself to be fierce and vicious in that moment, then that person will get hurt or die. And that anger at the moment, that anger at the situation, and that call for you to change that moment and alter the way that this timeline is going to work out, that is the most beautiful manifestation of anger that anybody could ask for. Like, there's no firefighter going into a house that isn't a little bit, that isn't a lot angry. You have to get a little bit angry, but this focused anger to go into a situation like that, a really meaningful, good situation, a bad situation, and turn it into a beautiful situation. And that's why I think that anger has the most potential and power of any emotion. And that's why it's the most important to master, because that anger is what looks at a bad situation and just hisses at it and bares its teeth. That's like the inner animal. That's the inner child going, absolutely not. This person will not die in this fire. We're going to drag them out, against all other logic and against all other emotions. And letting that anger go to the forefront and do that is kick ass. It's really dope. And I'm just sort of unlocking my own experiences and trauma of like, there's a reason that in these situations, times when I'm driving and I pull and I see somebody, it's like I'm the first person at a car crash, or somebody is hurt at the pool, or etc., etc. Like, there's always been something inside of me that I didn't fully understand until right now, that was so excited and happy whenever those things happened. And I would always describe it in the past as those situations are very rich. They're very visceral. They're very real. And so often in life, we can go through life feeling like we aren't quite in touch with reality. We're either caught in our thoughts or we're scrolling on our phone. But when there's a house on fire in front of your eyes, you get like pulled back to reality. But I see that it's more than that. All of that is true. But in reality, my anger was getting a voice. My anger was getting a platform to speak and be represented and let itself out. And it would do so in the most beautiful, meaningful way. End rant.
Yeah. So, where do I want to start? Where do I want to start? Hold on, let me check the clock. Oh God, we're already past our time that we said we were gonna be at.
Are we past an hour?
No, I think we're under an hour by like 15 minutes.
Okay, cool. No, that's awesome. We started at around 7:30, almost exactly. So this is amazing. This is sensational. Right. Yes.
Two main points here.
Yes, let's hit some points.
2 main points. 1. I think the reason that you love doing this whole thing right now and the wanting to change people and wanting to help people, and I'll use the term in crisis because that's what I think of when I think of people who, are suicidal, people who don't know exactly where they're going.
I was just gonna interject and be like,
funny?
I was gonna say that's what you think of when you think of my fan base is people that are in crisis.
I mean, it's not wrong.
Max in chat is like, you talking about me?
It's not wrong.
The crisis fan base.
Yes, people in crisis.
I'm sorry, continue. You had a great thought going.
No, it's so funny. No. Hold on, I need a minute.
How would you describe your fan base? Just people who are in crisis. Absolute basket cases. Fucking Rex.
Shit, dude. I haven't laughed that hard in so long. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, so about people in crisis.
Yes, there's something about them that I love. There is.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And so I think that's why you like this so much, is because it really gives you the ability to channel that feeling that you get when you have to rush to something to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't even know what the point of that was.
I actually have something to go off just quickly because it really calls back to confusion precedes learning. And I think when I see somebody who's in crisis, I see that they're at a fork in their road or a breaking point where they can either go hard up or hard down. And I'm excited to... here's the thing. In the past, I would have been like, oh, here's what you have to do. But now I just want to exist and have them look at me and be like, oh, damn, like we can take a hard upturn. I mean, I know you've heard the song Rock Bottom. Like, it's one of your favorite songs.
Never heard it.
Yeah. I'll sing a section of it here right now, because what would my podcast be if I wasn't plugging my music?
Oh, here we go.
The chorus is like, and I said, fuck. I guess there's nowhere to go but up from here. If this is rock bottom, I hit my rock bottom. And that is the chorus. And the idea is like, I mean, yeah, like when you hit that crisis point, there's nowhere to go but up. And if people can see that, it's one of the most motivating things that they can experience in their lives, is to see that, and to bring this back to the other thing about loving yourself and the two sides of yourself, if you can see that rock bottom is like a part of you and that's the worst that you can do, and it's okay, if you can like exist in that rock bottom and be like, you know what, I love this, I love myself, I love my rock bottom, then suddenly there really is nowhere to go but up. Like, if you can love your worst, people always talk about, if you don't love me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. Well, it's like, why don't you think that about yourself? You know? And
I'm sorry. I'm fucking dying over here.
like that's the
Oh
point.
shit.
That's why I go to people in crisis and I'm like, look, this is the most important moment of your life. If you can nail this right now, if you can figure out how to love yourself right now when you're in your crisis mode, then you're going to take over the fucking world.
Bro, fucking stomach hurts so bad.
I'm sorry.
Holy shit. No, you're
Oh,
fine.
I know. I know.
Bro. Okay, first off, I don't know now, not to not to reroute. I don't know what I'm laughing at harder.
I'm
Whether I'm
also
laughing
laughing
at
at
the
Canada Professor in chat saying, I can't stop picturing rock lobster replaced with rock bottom.
that's what had me rolling on the fucking floor. No, he said
I hit my
above
rock lobster.
Chris. Listen, Chris said, crisis people transform and roll out.
Crisis.
And then Canada Professor said, "We are not one, we are many." Holy shit.
Oh god. I love
No,
this.
I was dying at that, and then you said, "I love my rock bottom." And I'm so
I love my
immature. I just literally thought
rock.
about you like loving your ass. I was like, bro, are you good? I love my
Sometimes
ass.
that's actually, there's a beautiful double meaning in there somewhere about like there's something here, either a joke or a chorus for a song hook about hitting rock bottom. Something about having a tight ass but also
No, and
rock
then you were
bottom. Like there's
you were like,
a double meaning here that is brilliant that we just stumbled upon.
no, then you said, I like to go to people in crisis and say, if you don't nail this. It was like, bro,
If
is he
you
talking
don't
about his
nail,
ass?
if your rock bottom doesn't get nailed right now.
Okay, sex is the answer.
That is exactly the no. That's it. We got to the end. We got to the point.
Holy shit, dude! I'm like sweating. I'm dying laughing. Anyway, back to where we were. So,
No. That's
fuck, I don't
beautiful.
even
And you
remember
said
where
you
we
have one more
were.
point, so this is perfect.
I did my second point, just to just to wrap it back to anger.
And briefly, that was sarcasm. Sex is not the answer, kids. Stay in
Clearly,
school.
that is not the answer. Don't stay in drugs. Don't do school.
I'm trying to get better at sarcasm because I like you and I are fluent, but not everybody speaks it as fluently. So I'm just trying to like add subtitles for the people who aren't fluent in sarcasm because there's a lot of great, beautiful people out there who aren't fluent in the language.
No.
And I don't want them to feel alienated.
Anyway. All right, before this turned into a Comedy Central.
Yes, I'm so happy it did too. But
Okay,
anyways.
my point is back to anger. You said about how you like to respond to people in crisis. I'm sorry, I can't take it seriously anymore.
No, this is perfect. You aren't supposed. It's not that serious. Like this is the most important. This is the rock bottom. This is the rock bottom. We're talking about the most important thing in your entire life: loving yourself, and it's really not that serious. You really can laugh about it. Like it's not a big deal. And if you treat it like a big deal, that like, oh, your whole life is this incredible, difficult challenge that you have to overcome, then your life's just gonna be miserable. Like, loving yourself can be fun. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal.
Oh, why?
But like it's
Yeah.
but you don't have to go all like, this is important. Nobody laugh. That's just dumb.
That's stupid, dude. No, but
Your point. I'm sorry. Yes.
My biggest takeaway, I think, when it comes to anger and like, I don't even know what the other part of this I was going to say, but I always think it's really important to remember when something pisses you off and you're angry, like remember to respond to it, not to react.
Hmm. I like
Mm.
that. I like that. Respond,
So,
not
yeah,
react.
respond, not react, because then,
Hmm.
first off, you don't fuck it up somehow.
Totally. You don't tell Auntie Karen or Carol she's a bitch. That's what we're trying
Yes,
to
so
avoid.
you
You don't go
that is how
skull Greymon.
yeah, that's how you do it in the talent that's how you're angry in a talented way. Is
Yes.
that you do it by responding, not reacting, so that you're not channeling
Mm-hmm.
the feeling and the emotion in it, but you're channeling your response to it in a way that is helpful, in a way that is mature or not mature, but like not angry.
Scandium in chat just said somebody saying don't laugh always makes it funnier.
No, it literally does.
um I love that you said that and the way you expressed that so much because it really is another perspective. It's just another angle of looking at the like anger as a skill thing that don't, and that's a great way. I think that's going to land for some people in a way that maybe the other way didn't. Sometimes you can explain the same thing a bunch of different ways, and then for some reason one way works for some people, one way works for other people. So the don't react, respond is really really great. And I think that's another great way of looking at it. That thought can be floating in people's heads for when something pisses them off. um, I think that's a really, really awesome distillation. That's a great little um, phrase or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, man. I just, I don't know. I just felt like I had to add that in there somehow.
No, that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I
Aw,
really, really
thank
like
you. I
that.
know I am. I know I am.
Yeah, you do. Loving ourselves around here. Loving yourself. I'm loving myself. The chat is clearly loving themselves right now because they're crying, laughing from the last exchange still, which is great. I love it. And yeah, don't respond. No, wait, don't react, respond.
Do respond.
Yes,
Please
do
respond.
respond. And
And you can
mhm,
react. Just give it
mhm,
time.
mhm. I think that that's also the. What did I say earlier? I said there's a difference between suppressing your emotions and channeling your emotions. And I feel like a reaction, you don't want to react. And people know they don't want to react because that's bad. That's sort of like, that's a little bit too nasty. Um, and you're going to say something you regret. So people go, oh, I can't react, so I have to suppress. But it's like, no, there's another option. There's a better option. And that is responding. That is channeling your anger. Use your anger to fuel your focus and then respond in a way that actually makes the world better.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I feel like it's so important too. As negative as anger may be to
Mm.
I hate using the word normal people, but
Yeah, the lesser thans.
people who are not us.
And here's the thing, anger can be negative. Every emotion can be positive or negative.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But like the way that it seems, and as like I said, as negative as it may be for people who aren't like us, that's why it's so positive to me in a sense because you use the motivation and the energy from something that's so frustrating and so aggravating that you respond to it and do it in a wholesome not a wholesome way but like something that's so energizing about it,
Mm.
like for something that can be said is negative and is so quote bad, like people say. I mean, it really just fuels the fire for what we can do. I mean, I feel like
Mm.
it's so important in self-discovery to have something that frustrates you and to have something that channels your inner anger and makes you frustrated because then you're going to be like, I don't want that to ever happen again, or oh, that pissed me off. What can I do different,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important and it's so vital to learning about yourself to experience all of the different feelings and emotions.
Totally. Totally. And I think generally in life, I'm starting to learn that just because you've had something good doesn't mean you have to always have that. Like, just because you like cheeseburgers doesn't mean you have to order a cheeseburger every time you go to the restaurant. And everything in life is like that. And you don't want to sell yourself short and cut yourself off to great experiences and things that you could have because you think, oh, well, this one time I was happy and that seemed good, so I'm just gonna always be happy. It's kind of like always ordering a cheeseburger. It's like, what about the pizza? What about the pasta? Maybe you're missing out on something great because you're sort of closed-minded in that way.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that because my ADHD kicked in, but like, what? So on the,
What? just me pulling metaphors out of my ass again. Like,
no, but on the cheeseburger, 'cause I'm fucking stuck on this cheeseburger, and I'm thinking, what's your go-to order at Fat Burger?
dude, I already talked to you about Fat. Right, last night I was ranting about how good Fat Burger is. I think
Yeah, but you
it's
never said what you order.
Oh, I think it's the California burger that has avocado on it. That's so
Is that
good.
why you thought they were Californian?
They are. That says they started in LA in 1952. I looked it up on the Google. And
Duh, Google.
yes, the Google told me so, and that means it's true. Well, in reality, it was the Fat Burger website, so I do trust that, unless they're just lying. But they opened their first franchise in Vancouver in 2005, but they started in LA in 1952. I remember that because I don't know why. It's just useless information. But Fat Burger is good. They have great burgers, even though they cost way too much. With onion rings and a milkshake, it's probably like $25 for a meal, which is way too much, but it tastes good as shit.
Yeah, no, I just like I heard you say cheeseburger and I was like, oh yeah, we never finished that conversation.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
that's the takeaway from today's episode is Fat Burger, expensive but worth it, especially when you're sad. When you're in crisis mode, crisis team, go get a crisis burger from I need to open a fast food chain now called Crisis Burger. That's just the greasiest food. And the whole MO is like depressed, feeling anxious. Is your life
eat.
collapsing in front of you? Come to Crisis Burger and eat your pain. And every other fast food, they always do like smiling, happy people coming into the fast food chain, and all my commercials, it's just gonna be miserable people. Give me an extra large milkshake. My wife just left me. Crisis Burger. Come on down to Crisis Burger. Did you just get canned from your job? Did your wife cheat on you?
Spend money you don't have.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on down to Crisis Burger and fill your face with 5,000 calories of depression stopping goodness.
Crisis burger. It's like the Mr. Beast burger, but it's
Somebody
It's you.
please design a Crisis Burger logo and we will put it on a shirt.
Is that the next shirt?
That could be the next shirt. Just like
I'll do it right now.
I'd love it if it was sort of a Fallout style, sort of 50s old Burger Shack, retro logo that was just Crisis Burger, but somewhere in the bottom there has to be somebody crying, just like shoving the burger into their mouth with two hands while they sob, Pokemon style anime, like tear streams down their face, and like, Crisis Burger.
Speaking of merch,
Speaking of merch, oh yeah, we're probably at like a perfect time to do a wrap up slash merch plug. So Haley,
That's what I'm saying.
tell us all about the great merch that you just received.
sure. So once upon a time, there was a young girl named Haley, and she got home from work, and there was a package on her front porch, and she saw the package, and it said OGR-Scintilla was the sender, and I said, "That's bullshit. He's Canadian, because it has an address from Texas."
That's probably where they printed the shirt.
And so then I said, "What is this? It feels like a shirt. I didn't order a shirt. I ordered a CD." And I opened it up. And in there was a white t-shirt. And I said, where did this come from? And then I said, oh yeah, it's from OGR-Scintilla.
Wicca wicca what?
And then I looked at it and I said, whoa, holy shit. There's dishes on this t-shirt. Why is there dishes on this t-shirt? And then I said, oh yeah, actually I probably do need to do laundry. And then I said, oh shit, that's the shirt that I designed. And then I was like, oh fuck yeah, wait, why? Hold on, what? He sent that to me? Oh no, you gotta be kidding me right now, bro. No, what the fuck? And then I DM'd OGR and I said, yo, what is this?
Wicca wicca what?
So that being said, new merch drop on the site. It's a t-shirt and it's got what the fuck is that called? A sink full of dishes.
A fucking I don't have the thing with the full merch. I'm trying to find it and put it in chat, but
It's okay. I'll take pictures in it this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to put it here so that like it was you could see it in the replay of the podcast. I put the art, but on the original, or what I did was I took Haley's drawing of the dishes that was inspired by my song Coast, and then underneath I wrote "Do your dishes," and then underneath that smaller in brackets it says it's a metaphor.
Yeah, so the quote from Coast is, life is a dish, I've been letting it soak. And so the goal there means, hey, you know what, get the fuck out of your own way, stop letting your shit soak, and just do it.
Scrub that shit.
Scrub them.
Scrub them. Scrub.
So yeah,
put some elbow grease into your life. Yeah.
Overgrowthrenaissance.com. Click buy my merch and then scroll and it's there.
Is it not? Oh, I didn't actually put it on
No,
the
it's
site
not on
yet.
there.
It's not on there yet. Okay,
Yeah, no,
cool.
I'm just kidding. Don't get it, because I said that yesterday and it wasn't on there. But, yeah, go buy it.
As soon as this podcast is over, I am going to go, and it's all ready to drop. I just need to click the drop button. I was just waiting for you to get it, because I thought, what better way to spoil a surprise than, have you to drop new merch and then have you like buy it and me be like, maybe you should cancel your order. And then you'd be like, why should I cancel my order? And then I'd have to tell you that I sent you a free copy of the shirt.
No, I literally got home and I was like, I'm gonna. Oh wait, no, hold on, we're still recording. Never mind.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Now I'm scared. I know I shouldn't be, but
we'll talk. Anyway.
You were probably excited for your new merch. This was an incredible episode. This was, I feel like, the ultimate anger episode. What a great episode.
Yeah, I'm pissed off about it.
Yeah, I hope everybody goes home angry tonight. And and I mean that in the best possible way. I hope that if something about your life isn't right, if there's something standing in your way, if there's something that you know that you need to change about your situation or your relationships or yourself, that you get a little bit angry at it and you go, grr, I'm gonna make this better. I'm going to make my life a little bit more kick-ass, and I'm gonna channel my anger into doing it. Outro complete?
I have nothing else to add to that.
Beautiful. This was episode 2 of the OGR podcast. Good laughs, good anger, good conversations. Love y'all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to the Hoser Gang for supporting me every month, including the Tier 3s, Chris C., Joe S., Jacinta, Patrick T., Wyatt W., Scott M., Haley C., Andrew C., Aaron C., Mike K., and Graham G., as well as all of the Tier 2 supporters who help me out every month. I love you guys, and I could not do it without you. And join the Discord if you want to be there live when we record the next episode of the OGR podcast. Love you guys. Bye.